Welcome to the Bend Don't Break podcast. We are powered by The Source, Ben's locally owned media company and weekly newspaper. This podcast is our eddy in the rushing waters of local journalism. We are glad that you're taking some of your time to listen to us chat with the people who shape our local community. Support us through our member program at bensource.com.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, RE/MAX Key Properties, a family-owned full-service real estate brokerage specializing in residential, luxury, commercial, new construction, and ranch and land properties. Their new state-of-the-art facility at 42 Greenwood Avenue is a modern, collaborative space and the new home of the Bend Don't Break podcast recording studio.
I'm Aaron Switzer, publisher of The Source and producer of the Bend Don't Break podcast with compatriot and fellow producer Meg and Burton. Today our guest is Peter Madsen. He is a features and investigative reporter supported by the Lay It Down Foundation, and his work regularly appears in The Source. Peter is part of our navel-gazing Christmas podcast adventure that we're starting today. Peter's arts and culture writing has appeared in Vice, Thrasher, and the New York Times. He moved from New York City to Bend in 2016. Counting his time with the Lay It Out Foundation, Peter has written over 400 stories about Central Oregon. Prior to taking the investigative post with the foundation, Peter worked on the Canadian Screen Award-winning documentary It's Not Funny Anymore, from Vice magazine to Proud Boys. Peter is, to clarify, Lay It Out Foundation is closely associated with The Source, and Peter's been a big part of work that we've been doing lately. So we wanted to pull in for readers and get and have you guys learn a little bit more about Peter. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So were you brought up in New York? I mean, it says in your bio 2016 you moved here. How long were you in New York?
8 years.
Okay.
So I moved there when I was 23, just a couple years out of undergrad, and I went to the University of Iowa. They have a good J school there. But prior to that, I lived in Iowa, Hawaii, Spain, and Mexico. So that's why I kind of start with New York.
Okay. Was that prior to going to J school?
Yeah. Well, mostly, yeah. My dad is a retired airline pilot.
Okay.
So we lived in the Twin Cities area, big airline hub.
Yeah.
Then we moved to Hawaii because they wanted to station pilots out there to fly to Asia and Australia. So that was fun. 4th and 5th grade, getting a boogie board and skateboard and mountain bike. That's why I like Bend so much, because you can. The vibe is still the island vibe is here.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, it's not as true, or maybe it's as true and it's been watered down. But there was a period in the late '90s when we first started the paper. There were so many Hawaiian people that had homes in Hawaii and also here, or transplants. So there was this kind of island. Bend has always had this undercurrent of island vibe.
Yeah, I feel like it's because we have so much public land here. Yeah. Whereas on the island chain, the public land is water. There's a lot of private land. So the idea of getting to tear around on a mountain bike or on a snowboard, in the mountains on snow is really appealing.
Yeah. So where were you prior to moving to New York?
I was in San Francisco.
Doing? Just goofing?
Working at a bookshop.
Okay. That's a good start for any writer.
I think it really was.
Yeah.
It really was. Each day I walked home with a book stuck in my waistband. So I expanded my reading list. But I was freelancing for SF Weekly, little music blurbs, previews to shows, and I started doing artist interviews for Thrasher magazine, which is headquartered there. Yeah. And as a skate rat, that was so exciting.
That's cool.
And it was just...
And especially then, Thrasher's reputation was through the roof. I mean, it was a great time to be there.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Seeing...
Not that its reputation's waned, but it was so prominent then.
Well, it's still the only printed monthly skateboard magazine. It's still pretty thick. Yeah. I subscribe. It's 150 pages. Yeah. So it's still the kind of CNN of pro skateboarding. It's, hill skating.
What was your first experience walking into the SF Weekly environment? I mean, what was that? What was that like for you? Because that was your first exposure to journalism.
Well, we could backtrack a little bit, and I never went in the office at SF Weekly. Okay. But I interned at the City Pages in Minneapolis. Okay. Which is owned then by the Village by Village Voice Media, which also owned SF Weekly. So I interned there. I did some freelance writing for them on top of my calendar duties. And they were like, well, you did a great job. You know, let us know what you're going to do after college. You hit the ground running. And then, as you know, the New Times like merger with Village Voice happened. And there was this like a bloodletting in this newsroom among the editors and writers I had kind of worked with. And so I was like, shoot, where do I go now?
I'm sure there's like 5 people watching this who understand what the New Times Village Voice merger. Well, I mean, most people know the Village Voice name, and that it was one of the first weeklies. Norman Mailer worked there. It was immensely influential, and New Times, to their credit, as they grew and expanded, was another forerunner of alt weeklies and had their own kind of brand. They were very much more focused on the commercial aspect of alt weeklies than I think Village Voice. But when they merged, it kind of rocked the alt weekly world that had seen themselves as being little independent bugs running around in the country. And when they merged, it was pretty clear times were changing for alt weekly news business. We were mainstreaming.
Right. Yeah. And that seemed to kind of run against the grain of a lot of the alt journalists, our like value system. It's not like indie as an indie rock as a look. It was like indie, like as a political way of operating within the economy. It's anti-establishment, anti-corporate, and just kind of ate itself. So I booked it to New York because Vice at this time, 2008, was in Forbes. It's one of the fastest growing media companies. So a friend got a job there as a video editor, and I weaseled my way in. And
you turned your back on print for a while.
Well, here's the thing. They had a free glossy magazine. And that's what attracted me. But they were growing their video kind of department in a big way. Within like 5 years, they'd be doing deals with HBO. They'd be carving out their own like news department. Yeah. But I was stuck in the marketing department. So I was like really frustrated. Right. I was like, I'm a journalist. Dang it. Like I'm copywriting for Mountain Dew and like Ballpark Franks. I'm like, this is so antithetical.
Well, I want to go, before we get too far down the road, take me back to interning at City Pages. Like you walk into that environment. Yeah. What was that like for a young Peter Madsen? For young Peter Madsen, and still for a 42-year-old Peter Madsen, walking into Alt Weekly office is pretty cool. I love the amount of the I mean, everyone there is very. I mean, I was so in awe of how smart and knowledgeable people were, and they're writing with this sassy attitude. I mean, I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. You know, you can really cop an attitude if you know what you're talking about. And that's what they certainly did. Yeah. And as a very formative, young journalist, and I wanted to aspire to have that confidence to write with the voice earned by knowledge and research reporting. Not uninformed and straight from the hip. Yeah, that's what the comment section is for. Right. Well, I think that it must be interesting. I remember when we would bring in, and it's still true today, when you bring in a lot of writers, they're always very shocked if they've come from, well, pretty much any other journalistic area, that, you're encouraged to have a voice. You're encouraged to step out from that AP style, which I've always abhorred, coming from a English background. And, to kind of wide-eyed, new writers who get in that environment, like, wait, I can use first person sometimes, and I can say things, and I can, we would say, go in objective, but when you understand the environment, you want to let people know what you found. I don't want you to, bite your tongue. So, it's different. It's different. Yeah. I think it's more genuine. It's a more, I find that the interaction we have with readers, to be a much more, it's much more similar to the kind of conversations we have in the real world with readers, or just people in our world and around town. It's conversational, it's chatty. We swear, like writers say things like Avi, like you can't do that. Like if you're writing for USA Today. Right. So, continuing on your meandering path to Bend. So when you were working at Vice, you did manage to get out of the marketing department. I didn't.
Well, I did by writing for the competition and then getting laid off. So then I'm like, okay, what do I do?
Right.
After a year at Vice, I saw how the sausage was made.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff's come out, exposés about how exploitive they were and how disingenuous they were in terms of the journalism they were purporting to make, especially with video. I mean, I saw how like a sponsor would a corporate sponsor would, pay money for this video series, but they would have they could like cut out anything with teeth, and they did. So I'm like, that went against the ethics I learned in J school, and it wasn't the work I wanted to do. So what work can I do? I need to keep a roof over my head. I started working as a bike messenger in Manhattan while freelancing.
Awesome.
So yeah, 5 years as a wild child in the streets.
Yeah, my son's in New York, rides his bike around a lot. Sent me some of. I wish I could remember the title of it, but there was a documentary about bike messengers in the 80s.
Oh, I've seen it.
Awesome.
It's scary.
Awesome documentary. And how they took their life in their own hands. And over the course of the documentary, they would just get busted up.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens to you. You're going to get arrested for something. You're going to get hit by a cab.
Yeah.
You're going to get robbed.
Yeah.
All these things happen to me. But
well, journalism is starting to look better and better for you as a career choice.
yeah.
Given where you were there. And
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that, my early career ambitions have come full circle as I enter my early 40s. I wouldn't believe myself when, if I had said I'll be at an alt weekly doing investigations and also arts and culture writing alongside it. I mean,
yeah.
I really thought that like the alt weekly dream it died in 2007.
We're still here.
God bless you.
Still here. Did so what's the motivation for Bend? I mean, you're in New York. Why come out here?
Well, I have this quip, and people who know me know I've trotted it out a few times, but I like to say I traded 8 million for 8 million ponderosas. I needed like a hipster detox, a status anxiety detox, and increasingly riding in the city, I wanted to go out country roads, and I was doing that, but I wanted to get into mountain biking, cyclocross, skiing, and just a more genuine way of operating in the world. And so it gave me the opportunity to chill out.
What, straight from New York to here.
Yeah.
What was that like when you landed?
Culture shock.
Yeah.
Culture shock. I mean, I stuck out as a cisgender straight passing white guy. Like
Right.
I stuck out.
Right.
I still get teased. I wear a scarf, like a wool scarf, a nice scarf. I get teased. Like, this is a town that doesn't wear scarves.
No.
I mean, so there's
No, that's wrong. You can't protect your neck unless it's gear.
I went from
See, you don't have gear. Scarf would be an accoutrement, but if you put you pull a balaclava on or something,
I'm ready to summit South Sister.
then you're there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be fleece. It can't be wool.
Oh no, I'm wearing duck cloth and wool and wearing a shirt with ducks on it. I mean,
Yeah, it's East Coast, man. It's still on you. It's still clinging to you.
I guess so. I also read books. I mean,
Yeah, that's East. Well, that's Portland. There's a lot
no,
of
I
those
did
folks in Portland too.
spend 4 years in Portland. So
You did a stint at the Daily here.
yeah, I did.
Yeah. And how long were you there? Because that's where you kind of got really in deep into the culture here.
I did. Yeah, that's how I met a lot of people, and I got to learn how systems work. I was there precisely 3 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Precisely. I wanted to look very purposeful.
Yeah. And then you went back to school, correct?
Yeah, grad school during COVID. I timed that perfectly.
Yeah, that is a good move.
And I explored audio journalism and documentary filmmaking, and moved to Portland, worked on some documentaries.
Oh, yeah. Tell us a little bit about the documentary.
Yeah, one was a branded documentary for Bill Gates's book about climate change. It was also frustrating. It reminded me of my time in Vice at this studio. They're like, "This is journalism that we're doing," and then the next week you'd be like, "This isn't journalism what we're doing." So I was like just dizzy.
Yeah.
So the work was exciting, but
What was the theme?
it was just climate. It was five different groups, organizations, nonprofits, technologies are helping us get to a race to zero carbon emissions by 2050. That's like Bill Gates is. Well, he's kind of like walked that
He's
back.
backing it. He's walking back a little bit.
He
these
walked it
days,
back.
right? Yeah. Yeah. It's not as bad as he thought.
Well,
I think is the theme right now.
I probably feel better about climate change if I was a billionaire as well. I mean,
right.
You just get your super yacht, take off for the Arctic.
Right. Is he? I know Zuckerman's a super yachter, but is Gates? I know he's got the water plane.
Oh, okay.
I know that there's a water plane involved.
Well, I'd be disappointed if he wasn't a super yachter.
I don't know. You would think.
Gosh.
So, but you did your own documentary, what was it? Not for laughs, or?
It's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
From Vice magazine to Proud Boys. I was hired on to a crew. This is a fun story. One of the most well-known roving Vice correspondents, Thomas Morton, we stayed in touch, and he invited me to be a researcher and also a subject in this documentary, where we traced the anti-PC origins of like the zine culture and comic culture that Vice came up in the 90s in Montreal to the alt-right 4chan, like contrarian, racist, sexist, etc. stuff you see today. And the through line is that one of the founders of Vice, Gavin McInnes, was bought out of Vice in 2008, and then 2016 starts at Proud Boys. 2018, they turn into what we know them as today.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like
I didn't realize they were tied to Vice. I need to see your documentary.
I'll send you a link. There's a through line. There's like a contrarian edgelord through line in the sensibility.
Yeah.
And we chart that while also doing like a collective reckoning of like, we should probably kind of do like a group therapy session here.
Yeah, right.
For the benefit of the public.
Yeah. Was that the last documentary you worked on?
Yes. Yeah. I it's exciting working documentaries. It takes so long to make them. They're so expensive. They might not get distributed. So I miss the like immediacy of writing for a local audience, for a publication that people trust. And happily I saw the job posting, earlier this year, April in the spring.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was, we posted in March or April.
Yeah, I started April.
Megan's over there, the one who posted it.
Started April 1st. That was my first day, I think.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Well, I know now you're doing great work.
Thanks.
And you're doing deeper dives. And
yes.
I'm fortunate that the paper still is a medium by which we can do longer form journalism, which, in case readers don't know, is an endangered species. But how do you find that kind of work? It's you got to keep a lot of balls in the air and keep dogging the stories to get them built up and get the information you need. It's not turning press releases.
No, it's certainly not. For the way I've entered this heightened kind of responsibility in storytelling is I'm coming from a background of arts and culture writing, human interest profiles, narrative storytelling, and those things lend themselves really well. The kind of like skills you hone in and getting good at that lend themselves really good to long form investigative work. So being able to like bolster my narratives with deep dives, like, getting record requests. The most recent one I got had the word confidential on it, so I feel a little bit like a sleuth. But it's very much in line with the long form narrative journalism I have loved since I was in undergrad. New York Magazine, the New Yorker, New York Times Magazine. I mean, The Atlantic. That's like the big leagues. But every time I read long narrative feature in any of those publications, I'm just like, I just love the storytelling.
What do you think about people who say that nobody's got the attention span for that kind of thing anymore? Why continue it? Why continue writing in that way? I mean, Megan's generation, they can't track that. I'm just kidding.
I don't have this. Yeah, this is just what I do.
Yeah.
I'm stubborn and short-sighted. I will you know, I will do narrative investigative work right off the edge of a cliff. Like I think though we just kind of feel called to this kind of work. It's
Yeah.
I can't it's I don't have as much agency as you might think. Like this is what I do.
I stand behind it just because I think that inevitably long form storytelling always will have a place, whether, you know, maybe it starts transforming into having some kind of video component. But ultimately, when you get to a story, the end of a story, and there's not the rest of the story, you know, there's a lot of journalism where you read the story and you're like, wait a minute. I didn't hear from X, Y, and Z people in this. I don't know what happened to so-and-so. You don't know if there's another story coming. You kind of want it wrapped up in a bow. And unless you give people the room to run on something like that, you don't ever get the bow. You just get the like, well, I hope we hear from this writer again.
Yeah, I hope we get an update.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much of my favorite stories, whether they're films, you know, the origin was a piece of nonfiction writing. Maybe it was a script based on true events, or it was based on long form narrative reporting. I'm thinking of like Truman Capote. Yeah. Like he got the idea for for his nonfiction novel. He called it by reading just a little snippet of a murder in Kansas in an AP Wire. Yeah. And then he's like, there's so much more to this story. And then he went and just wrote this beautiful book about it. Yeah. And then you get a movie out of it.
Yeah. You've been in the industry long enough to see a lot of change. Mm-hmm. What's your perception of that change, and where do you think it's heading?
I feel like I feel like the reading public is placing more importance on journalistic institutions they trust, especially locally owned ones. I feel like the donation kind of set up with newsrooms being nonprofits or partial nonprofits. Yeah, I think people are understanding that if we want a free society, we need to have journalists empowered to hold, you know, politicians to account, to make sure that they're being straight with us. Without that, you know, you can't really do an investigation on TikTok. As addictive and fun as social media is, you know, you're not gonna have the stable society that we have called America for so long.
I should say, for people who are listening, Peter's position is entirely funded through donations from the local community. So it is a different model, and I find it very cool that, in a way, and these people support it. There's no strings attached other than, you know, quality control on, you know, making sure that the features are well written and well documented. And I believe there's one other stipulation about must have statistical basis in some of the reporting.
Yeah, data driven.
Data driven. Yeah, right. So it's very cool and it's very new. When we first established the foundation, and this was just coming out of the pandemic, when the model, I mean, it doesn't seem that long ago, but the model even then was very new. A lot of questions. Is it possible? Will anything come of it? Some people have taken to education. Some people work on, you know, some foundational we're doing, but the foundations like the Laid Out Foundation that actually uses those funds to hire, very rare. And it's cool. It's cool to see that there is more accountability in the community because people are supporting the work that you do.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah. And what do you look forward to? I mean, as you look down the road at your own writing, what are the aspirations and hopes that you have for yourself?
Gosh, I mean,
don't get sued.
Don't get sued. Don't.
Or do get sued.
Well, let's see. Get sued for a good reason. One I can sleep. You know. Aspirations. I mean, I really am just focused on the next week, the next month, right here. I mean, sure, like it'd be amazing to like have done the work to join the ranks of like national, you know, contributing writers for one of the those very illustrious publications I just mentioned, but I would even in
Is
in
that on your radar? Do you aspire to that?
I do aspire, but it's not. I also did like an ambition detox when I left New York. Like I don't need to be write for a famous publication to feel good about myself or my work, people I interact with. Working for a local news outlet that's respected in town. I like the interactions. I would if I was writing nationally. And I have on certain occasions, Thrasher, New York Times.
Yeah.
You don't have that like immediacy with your neighbors, with people in the coffee shop, at the bar.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I like local journalism. So
I like the ambition detox.
Yeah.
We should have like a Movember for ambition detox where people just like stop. It's like we say to like, I always look at like Shaq or Snoop. I'm like, you can stop now.
Yeah.
Like that, the ambition overload here is killing me, and I'm not even them.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're loving the paycheck, but my God, it hurts my eyeballs when they come on and I see them again. I'm like, ambition detox would be good. And there's certainly people locally I would say the same thing about, not on this podcast.
I just want to give everyone in Bend a scarf.
It could be. That's how people would know you're taking part in Ambition Detox.
Yeah, wear a
for
scarf.
the month of February. We're going to do Ambition Detox month, and you'll wear a scarf to signal like, I'm chilling this month, man.
I'm chilling out.
No long term goals.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's
I'm
do
going
it.
to support that. That's going to be a thing. Other things that I know what I was going to say. One of the things I find when we're doing hirings, especially when we're bringing in journalists and reporters from large markets and they're coming here, a lot of times people come in and they have an attitude like, hey, well, I wrote in a big market. This is going to be way easier. I'm going to, smaller circulation, whatever it is that goes into their thinking about that. But I have found that it's just the opposite, because once they start writing and they realize that the person they're writing about, they're going to see that next morning at coffee, or that person's going to read the story. That was probably the biggest wake up call to me as a young publisher was, at first you're starting out and you're like, you're slinging and you're writing pretty freely. And then you get confronted, by somebody, and it's not arm's length. It's not ivory tower journalism here in Central Oregon. I remember, I see folks all the time that we haven't endorsed or that have complete disagreements, and you have to be able to. You got to have a great degree of integrity in your writing, and a lot of reporters will come over and they'll have that first moment in the coffee shop, and they'll come back and they'll be shook. Because now they realize their writing has real ramifications.
Yeah, it makes you want to triple fact check yourself. Yeah.
And I think it also is one of those things where it gives you that you understand firsthand the power of the pen. That you have affected that person's life. You thought you were writing to your screen and turning it into your editors, and then it goes into the press. And then it comes out and the person you're writing about reads it, and they have real things to tell you about how you did or did not get it right. And you got to be able to stand for that. And I think that's one of the coolest things about it, is I don't know a lot of other jobs that have that kind of like immediacy to the work that they're doing.
Right. Yeah. I like it. And when, I get comments, sometimes I agree with them, like maybe with the framing or including some like zoomed out context of an issue. And I'm like, all right, if it's not a correction, I can't go in and add paragraphs, but I can apply lessons learned each time I file a new story. That's how I keep my head up down the road. And it's how I kind of keep a thick skin about this kind of stuff too. Sometimes my job as an investigative reporter, if I'm making everyone happy, if no one's sending me an angry email, I am messing up this job.
Right.
Arts and culture, human interests.
Right.
I could get pats on the head after every story, and that was fun. But I started to wonder, maybe I could heighten this sort of craft that I'm bringing to the table.
I remember being very uncomfortable when the paper first started out. I was doing a lot of the reporting around city issues, and I would go to city council meetings, and it's kind of eye-opening to what journalism is and maybe should not be when you're in that council. I mean, you see reporters glad-handing a lot of the counselors, and I was like, how's that work?
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to write about them, and that's going to be harsh for you when you're standing in here, you know, letting them know that, you know, being all chipper and chummy, and then you've got to tell a hard story about it. So
yeah,
it makes me uncomfortable.
The glad handing.
Yeah, just getting. I mean, I want to be personable and I want to be nice and I want to have good relations. But I mean, I've seen some reporters who have felt like they needed to be effusive in order to get some inside information or whatever it is. But it's a bad dynamic. I think you end up in a cycle where eventually they're not going to be happy with you.
Yeah.
When you start doing your job.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I feel like not that I think glad handing's the way to do a job. I think having like a respectful rapport will, and you know, maybe filing simpler stories will help you have a difficult conversation with a politician or a business leader about something very difficult. You know, they hopefully they will trust us enough. You know, we have built up enough trust that they'll be transparent and go along with the process.
Yeah.
So,
what's the next thing that you're working on? What do you? Not to divulge any. Don't let the cat out of the bag.
Is there a cat in the bag? I can't even acknowledge said cat. It's
there
something.
might not be a cat. There might not even be another story in the works. We can't say.
I'm just working on my next book.
Oh.
On the company dime. No. Gee, I really can't talk about it.
What are your what areas do you like to cover? I mean, what are things that spark Peter Madsen's interest?
I'm interested in policing and the legal system.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating and extremely relevant in today's, you know, presently. And that's a process that it has been kind of shut off to me in like the previous beats I've covered. Nonprofits, health and fitness and outdoors and conservation, public lands, like all that's great. But like seeing someone stand trial for something or, you know, have to account for something that they allegedly did or didn't do. I mean, that's pretty, it's real and it's dramatic. And I'm at the edge of my seat when I'm reporting that stuff.
Well, great. Well, we're at the end of our time.
Okay.
For the podcast. Anything you want viewers, listeners to know before they lose the visual? Although we're trying to do more with video. We're trying to get your face on camera more.
Yeah. Pray for snow and wear a scarf.
Yeah. This has been the Wearing Scarf podcast. I'm Aaron Switzer, your publisher and producer. Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, go to bensource.com, become a member, help support the work that Peter does, help support the paper, and we'll do more podcasts like this. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
You've been listening to the Bend Don't Break podcast, powered by The Source Weekly. To read, hear, and see more of what we do, go to bensource.com.